Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Dubious speculation, and due to the fact that most people probably miss out hard. What's the invalidation point? What are the levels that we have to take a look at? At the moment of recording, Bitcoin is sitting at $78,000 instead of $40,000. It's just 50% difference pretty much. It is going kind of crazy right now. And I think that, look, the reason that I made this intro is not to troll, although maybe a little bit, but I've said it before. A lot of people were sticking to a 4-year cycle idea that we should bottom in Q4. And hey, don't get me wrong. It's not that like one candle invalidates the fact that we can bottom in Q4, right? It's still possible, definitely. However, it was already unlikely, and it's getting more and more and more unlikely pretty much every time I blink my eyes. The candles are going quite crazy right now. And like I said, the 4-year cycle, it did not play out, right? We didn't have a regular bear market at all. What we are seeing right now is if we look at the 4-year cycle, then every, previous bear market is sitting at minus 70. We're now sitting minus 70%, right? We're now sitting at, minus 38, right? This is a huge difference. This is full decorrelation compared to the last bull market. We're following it pretty decently, right? And I think that there is a real danger of sticking to a cycle that didn't exist, didn't play out, right? Bitcoin Day, it didn't have the downtrend. So people are waiting for a regular bottom process while not having the regular bear market in the first place. It fully copied 2009. I said a couple times before how it followed this. The time in which we bottomed is the same. The drawdown of 54% is the same. Altcoins on the Bitcoin pair, they didn't go down, they went up. Bitcoin versus gold went down a year earlier. Well, it's too much that I can mention that makes the 4-year cycle invalid. And that's fine. For some people, I think what we need is just go through Q4 and then it will be the confirmation. I think that there's a price that you pay by waiting that long. It won't go up forever like this. Obviously, we will have corrections, so don't worry about that though. Since again, the whole theory is, in my opinion, heavily invalid. What is the point that we should now take a look at to maybe get in, right? And that's hard because Bitcoin is now pumping on not news necessarily, but a change in macro, right? It is following it at all, actually, and it definitely cares about macro because the reason why we are pretty much pumping with 25% in a week during a bear market, name me one bear market where we did that, right? The fact that we're doing that is because stealth QE has begun, basically. That's the only reason, including the fact that Bitcoin was just already heavily oversold, and that's a perfect cocktail for it to go up. Now, where is the point? Because according, again, to the 4-year cycle, we should find a bottom of around 40K in around October, November, somewhere Q4. And again, it's not impossible, but, every percent that we go up is going to make it harder for that to still play out. And it was already pretty unrealistic in the first place, from what I think. So what should be the backup plan for the people who were sticking to that cycle? And I made that intro because there is, Cowan, obviously, on YouTube, which is a well-respected analyst with a lot of following. But this was his biggest stubborn, non-stop mistake that he made. And I do think that although you should think for yourself, a lot of people kind of followed what he said and they are sidelined. And yeah, that's going to make it really hard. As he said, like, I'm not going to buy in Q1 to back it up eventually. And I'm going to buy in Q3, like in the last half of the year. Yeah, if you started buying in July, then your window of DCAing wasn't really that big. So you should still have a lot of money on the sideline right now. And yeah, then you're probably buying into a candle like this because it creates a lot of FOMO. And that is actually just dangerous, right? Where could we go? Look, I'm not saying that we're going to repeat what we did last cycle because so far we haven't been repeating what we did last cycle, right? But things to do keep in mind though is that we are now breaking far above the bull market support band, for example. And the bull market support band is one of these indicators that if you consistently break it and you stay above it, right, that's the confirmation of a bull market because then it's offering support to the bull market, therefore the name, right? And in a bear market, it often functions as resistance. Well, resistance, it could have wicks above it, but this is not a wick above it. This is a complete penetration. This should be illegal. This is it eventually it could turn out to be a wick though, but it is really strong right now. So the bull market support band currently comes in at around $70,000, right? And the longer Bitcoin stays above it, the further the bull market support band will go up as well. But at the moment, it's about $70,000. What we saw last time, for example, is we were below it, right? We broke above it with a huge candle of in the 20%, right? And we went a little above it, and then we retested, right? After like pretty much 2 months. The cycle before, what we did is we broke above it with also a huge candle in the 20%, and we stayed above it for a long time. And there eventually we went below it, went a little above it, we wicked below it. We were dancing around it. If you zoom out, you can see like, well, it's kind of hovering around it. It's not really support, it's not resistance. And here it started really dragging it up since May 2020 or so, right? Again, but the bull market support band, it's just moving averages, and moving averages, they're based on how fast Bitcoin is moving in what time frame. So it is a lagging indicator, of course, right? So don't stick too much to that. 79,000. Holy shit, guys. Wait, great bear market. So what we can expect, but like, again, like every second, this is getting more. Holy crap. Okay, anyway, that 83K is getting really doable. Anyway, what would eventually be possible is that we will test the bull market support band as support. If we break below that, then it turned out that this was all a wick. And that happens before, right? That happened in this market, for example, where, well, we have to go back one market even further, I think, in 2014-15, where we went into a bear market. But the thing is, we went down so fast that the bull market support band didn't really had time to catch up on it, right? It needed time for that. So we broke above it, and eventually we broke below it anyway, and there it started to be resistance. However, that scenario has passed already, right? It was already resistance. We got rejected in October. We got rejected in January. We got somewhat of a rejection in April. And now we are here, right? So I do think that it is getting not the most likely scenario that we are going to sustainably break below it. However, keep in mind that we can go back to it and, wick around it. And again, at the moment it's 70K. Who knows what it's going to be next week, right? This is at the moment too unpredictable for my likings, and I'm not going to try to do that. This is one of the strongest candles we had in years. It's going really crazy right now. But that's one moving average that you want to keep in mind, because this is just showing like, hey guys, this was basically our one big resistance that we had left. If we look at multiple moving averages, we are now in a bull score of 4 of 6, meaning that from the 6 important moving averages, we are now currently above 4 of those. 200 weekly moving average supported us as to be a good floor once again. Usually in a cycle, we go towards it, we go a little above it, we go a little below it. It's mostly around it. If you zoom out, right, and you just look at that moving average, you can see that it's, tomato, but this is pretty much the floor-ish for Bitcoin, right? So we are now above that. We are bouncing from that. The 150 weekly moving average, we are now breaking above that as well. And again, that could eventually turn out to be a wick, because this is usually a pretty strong moving average. Plus, if you look at the resistance where we are right now, where we bounced in March 2025, it would not really surprise me if this is going to be the place where we do find some good resistance. Bitcoin is now back at $77,000, $600. So it just like in how many seconds it reversed $1,500. It's like the candles we are now getting literally in seconds that we used to have in days. It's nuts. There's volatility again, there's volume in the market, and that's a real good thing, right? However, if we do take a look at the 150 weekly moving average, yeah, we are now struggling a little bit with that, right? Usually what you see is also in the last market, when we break above the bull market support band, that's fine. But whenever we meet the 150 weekly moving average, we get a rejection, maybe 2, and then when we go above it, then it's totally fine, right? But the 150 weekly moving average is now currently going up, right? So if you draw and try to extend it a little bit like that, you can see that it's going, and that we either have to break it, right, or get a rejection by it, or we just climb it slowly, right? Because this move has been explosive. Don't, assume that it will keep on going like that. We can also climb it a little bit like this. We need to take a rest at some point, right? But that's one that you have to keep in mind. Like, okay, this could offer some resistance to the entire party. You can also see it here when we hit the bottom, we tried to go up, and the first point where we got our resistance was the 150 weekly weekly moving average. So I do expect that this one is going to be a little bit of a party pooper in this case. But then again, Bitcoin and giving craps about resistances is not really a combination that we're seeing in the last couple of days. And then the next big thing is the 100 and the 50 weekly moving average. The 50, we're going right at that right now. And in a couple of days, pretty much, then we will find that as resistance as well, right? So we have that somewhat as double resistance right there, right? So the bull market support band is not even that interesting at this point, but the 50, the 150, that's there. We have this big resistance line where we just got our first 1.5K candle down. And then if you take a look at the Fibonacci, you can also see that around that point, we have the 3.82 coming in. So overall, the whole 80K level is quite big, right? Meaning if we do get a rejection, a bigger one, right? A sustainable rejection, I think that that's pretty much the point. If we eventually break this level, then I think there are no real breaks or anything can stop it in the somewhat shorter term. And then I honestly think that the next stop is going to be 90, 100, right? Like let's say 95, give or take. That's then the big level, the golden pocket right there. We are not there yet. Don't think that it's going to be easy to get there. Although we see a candle like this, it's probably going to face a bunch of resistance in the meantime. And I think that this whole area here is going to be that resistance actually. So if we then now go down, then what could be the point? Again, I do think that the bull market support band is going to be that point where we can really find that support. So it would not surprise me if we now find somewhat of a newer range, right? We had a range between 60 and 67-ish for a long time. I think the newer range could be between 70 and 80, actually. 70, 78 maybe. I think that that could be the new range where we can just stay for a while. That's not unhealthy, and it might feel boring then, I know, like we're now finally seeing some action in the market. So yay, go market. And when things go sideways for 2 days, we're already bored again. Don't think that boring is bad necessarily. Here in the last bear market, when we went up, we got to a level of, you know, about 25-ish K, right? In March, and we were pretty much still there in October. So you could say like, oh yeah, this is boring. Nothing is happening. Let's not pay attention anymore. We got some gains, but it's not super spectacular and now it sucks. Overall, if you zoom out, it was in the middle of a bull market. So just keep that in mind. The ranges, they go in steps. They take the ladder basically, right? You have range number 1, you have range number 2, you have range number 3, whatever it may be. Look, if we come out of range 1, it doesn't mean that there's a new all-time high in sight anytime soon, right? This is boring. Eventually this happens. Bam, take that one. Boring. And bam, that one happens. In total, that is called a bull market. Right? Bull markets are not this. They're often more like this. That's what I'm foreseeing for the slightly shorter midterm. For Ethereum, this break of the 2.36 may have been somewhat of a fake out. I don't know if we're going to get a shorter term to around the $2,800 level, although there is a bunch of resistance right there, right? But it has to mean that either Bitcoin has to go up really hard and not give a crap about all these resistances I just mentioned. Could be, right? It's not always the most likely, but it could be. Or that Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair just really has to start outperforming. But to be honest, it just got a fat rejection right there. And this is not an easy level for ETH BTC. So therefore, I do think that Ethereum is now potentially getting a break as well. So if these resistances play out, right? Again, that's a big if, because so far, you know, not really. If these resistances break out, then BTC stands for boring trash coin as well, by the way. And then we have ETH, which then could also be somewhat boring. Then what about alts? Well, that's a little, maybe a different story. They're also above the bull market support band. The moving averages are not really in sight yet, right? It comes in at around $200 billion. We're now sitting at 180. That's somewhat of a difference right there still. So they have some room here at this point. Plus on their BTC pair, they are, you know, quite low. So there is some room for that to go up. And against ETH, it's kind of the same thing. But if you look at others versus ETH, they just got slapped down, right? Like it's not that they are already sitting at resistance and therefore it justifies why they can go down further. It could always be, right? I mean, it broke every moving average to the downside, actually. But I do think that with this could be a catch-up trade, right? Where people said like, oh, okay, cool. I made some money on Bitcoin. I made some money on Ethereum. Now let me put it into something else as these two assets are cooling off. We'll see. But to be honest, it's all quite unpredictable. It always is, especially now. It's going like you blink with your eyes and it's $1,000 added to it. It's kind of crazy how it happens right now. But it's kind of what I'm foreseeing for the shorter / midterm. So I hope it was useful. Let me know what you think down below and I'll speak to you in the next one.